Here's what I want to talk about. Other than the main event, there was a fight with Michel Pereira taking on Tristan Connelly. Now, Tristan Connelly made his UFC debut at the weekend. I'd never heard of him before. And I looked at him, Tristan Connelly, and I looked at this Michel Pereira, I think he fought at 170, and the size difference between these two guys was enormous. And when you looked at this Tristan Connelly, you thought, oh my God, talk about a lamb to the slaughter, right? And he's from Vancouver, so they brought him on, and he took the fight on 5 days' notice, which obviously is very courageous. So shout out to him for that. And the commentator Brendan Fitzgerald was talking about how he works in some building as a businessman, and at lunchtime he teaches some of the execs and stuff down in the basement, teaches them jiu-jitsu and stuff. I'm like, this doesn't sound like a guy that's going to do too well here. And on the scale, he was fighting this guy. What are you showing us here? What are you attempting to bring up?
I was just trying to show that I was trying to get Brian to show us the size difference between the two guys, but it's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm doing a good job of painting it. Anyway, they walked out, and he walked out, and he's Canadian, much like the English. He's very white, and he clearly not on steroids. He looked in decent shape, but I'm not saying he wasn't particularly jacked or nothing. And his opponent walks out. Looks, and again, looks. I didn't say is. Looked juiced to the gills, ripped to fucking bits. Looked like he competes at 2 weight classes above him. And as he walked out, it took him about an hour to get to the octagon. He's doing a little dance routine with his cornerman, which is cool. I liked it. It made me smile. It made me laugh. It was definitely an entertainment factor there. But then he gets into the octagon. He's backflipping all over the place. He break dances for about bloody an eternity. Was what
this is the guy who did a backflip during the weigh-ins, correct?
Absolutely. And then they showed it as he was walking in. They cut to the weigh-ins yesterday on the Friday. He does a backflip off the scale. So clearly a very, very explosive guy. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, this does not look good for the local boy, right? And then the fight starts, and this Michel Pereira is going at him like a madman, but he's running around, he's jumping off the fence, he's backflipping, he's cartwheeling, right? Look at this. Look at it there. Jumps off the fence. Boom, does that. A moment later after that, Tristan Connelly was on the floor on his back, and then he does it again. He does a standing somersault to try and stomp on his stomach. Now, don't get me wrong, for style points, for moves, it was awesome. It was great, and I'm watching it, and I'm kind of gobsmacked as I'm watching it going, hey, well, number one, this guy's an athletic freak, what he can do. But secondly, I'm thinking, he's going to fucking tire out in a minute. He is going to tire out because
it's a lot of energy to do all of those extra flips.
It's a lot of fucking energy. And guess what? Fighting takes a lot of energy out of you. And as I say, he walked in, he danced, he got into the octagon, he break danced for about 2 minutes, and then he's backflipping in the ring. And guess what happens, Lewis? Take a wild guess what happened.
I'm going to guess that we got a nice little slice of, MMA justice, as they say.
A little bit of humble pie was served, which isn't fair, right? Because, maybe he doesn't need humble pie, but he ran out of gas.
Yeah, he does. If you're doing backflips like that, I think it's fun. I think it's silly, but I'm hoping every single time that you get your head kicked off in the fucking cage. Any of that flashy shit, any of that. There's a couple memes that are out there where like really cocky fighters get put in their place. We watched it happen, obviously on a very high level. Anderson Silva with Chris Weidman back in the day, just all the shucking and jiving and all the. I love Anderson Silva. I'm a fan. Will always be a fan of Anderson Silva. But when he got knocked out, I remember just going like, well, don't fucking be a show off, dude. You're if you want to show off like that, when you lose, everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, that was a great example, actually, because that is probably the most high-profile one.
Yeah.
He was doing all that stuff, and then Weidman hit him, and then he pretends to be knocked out. And so then Weidman follows it up and actually fucking knocks him out. I was like, oh, my God, what are you doing? What just happened? And then, of course, they rematch, and he snaps his leg in the rematch. He's like, poor guy. You had to feel for Anderson in that occasion. Anyway, so, yeah, he gets tired. Funnily enough, guess what? He gets tired because he keeps fucking backflipping all over the place. And, to be honest, shouldn't take away from Tristan Connelly's performance, because he had a very good performance. He had some good takedowns. The striking was good. He looked very tough. And on the ground, he threatened with a lot of submissions. It went to a decision. It was a clear-cut victory for Tristan Connelly. And then it came out afterwards that he got fight of the night, but because his opponent, Pereira, didn't make weight, Connelly got the $50,000 from each side, because if you don't make weight, you're not eligible for the bonus. Therefore, Connelly went back home with the biggest win of his career and an extra $100,000. So bravo to that man. Well done, sir.
And in Canada, $100,000 will set you up for the rest of your life. It is, it's basically, snowy Mexico up there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I disagree. But, that's awesome. I love to see that, because he seems like a nice guy, a blue-collar guy, a hard-working guy. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's like some big financial stockbroker. Who knows, because he works in a business somewhere. But that was awesome. That was great. And well done to that guy. Can't wait to see him fight again. In fact, Harrington, while we're just talking, can you check on how many Twitter followers he has? Because I retweeted him and said, give this guy a follow. And he was on 200 Twitter followers then, like 220 or something.
Hold on, let's guess. Let's guess before we know. How much influence does Michael the Count Bisping have?
Whoa. Hold on. If it's exceptional, I'll take the credit. If it's a low figure, you got to understand that he was on ESPN at the weekend. This is not only my doing. Okay, he was all over the world. He was on the post-fight show. He was loading it up, chatting to people. He's probably on Ariel Helwani's show this morning. Okay, The guy's a big deal. If it's a big number, I'll take the credit though. What number we on? Lewis, give me a guess. As I said, when I retweeted him, he was on like 220. What do you think?
I'm going to guess that he's got 2,168 followers.
I'm going to say 3,500.
It's right in the middle, guys. 3,101.
Wow.
Closer to Bisping.
No, I'm Price is Right rules, you piece of shit. I'm closer without going over.
Whoa.
He went over. He doesn't get the Showcase Showdown. Sorry, baby boy.
Nice terminolo. So anyway, congrats to that guy. Well done. That was awesome. And you know what, Michel Pereira, I want to see that guy fight again as well. I think, if you're a guy like that, you obviously got a lot of athletic ability. And Harrington, what's the statement? Pereira came out and gave a statement as to the reason why he feels that he lost that fight. Go ahead.
Guys, many bad things happened. I got tired, but not because of the things I did, but for the huge weight cut I had. I had to cut 17.5 kilograms, about 38.5 pounds by myself with no one else to help, dealing with the stress of helping with my cornerman's visa who wasn't there. Everyone else had someone to help. I was alone there. It's not an excuse, but I know I'm a fighter that grows as rounds go by. But I got tired since my body shut down in the beginning of the second round. I fight for you guys to put on a show for you. Let's support more and criticize less. I fight this way to make UFC more fun. Fighters today only think about winning and putting on boring fights, and that's why MMA is decreasing so much. I want to make my fans happy by watching my fights, but this time things happened and led to my defeat. I lost to myself. I will be back to do it even better. You'll see I have cardio to fight 3 rounds, no problem.
I believe him, by the way. He definitely has cardio because he's doing triple axel fucking Olympic flips in the middle of a MMA fight. So he's doing another extremely difficult sport very well in the middle of another sport. It's like Sport Matrix. He's a guy all he had to do was do it a little less. 50% of the backflips.
Just do one of the sports. That's all you got to do. You ever got to do multiple sports at once? Okay, listen. To a certain degree, he is correct, and his cornerman never made it because of a visa issue. Yeah, that sucks. Couple of things. One, don't show up 17 kilos overweight. That's your issue. That is nobody else's, not his cornerman, not his team, not his manager, not Dana White's, not the commentator. Nobody else in the world is responsible for your weight other than the fighter in question. Even if you have a nutritionist that you pay, you're still the one putting the food in your mouth, okay? So, number one, he's got to take care of that. Secondly, the weight cut would have been hard, and that does definitely take away from your conditioning. Here's the thing. If you had a hard weight cut, like you said, don't do the backflips. That's all you got to do. Just don't do the backflips. Just don't somersault. And I do like what he said. I do like the fact he's trying to put on an exciting performance, okay? And it was fun, and we're talking about it now. But you got to win fights first and foremost. You have got to win the fights. And
look, Pettis was the guy who probably the highest profile guy that does crazy shit, right? Pettis picks and chooses. he picks and chooses those moments to explode. It's not just showboating so much like that. I mean, that's so over the top. When he does like 3 flips in a row in the middle of the fight, it's so over the top that it crosses a line into kind of like silly, where you go like, all right, you're not trying to win the fight. First and foremost, you should be trying to win this fight. Not entertaining shouldn't be the first goal in the fight. Winning the fight should be the first goal, and being entertaining and all of those other factors that come into play should sort of fall right underneath that first thing, which is absolutely winning that fight. And to be honest with you, looking at that fight and watching these moments where he's exploding that way and seeing the fact that he gassed, if he just stuck to a specific game plan and was just committed to just fighting better than Tristan Connelly, I think he probably would have just won the fight.
Well, he may have won the fight, and that's why before I was trying to pick my words carefully, because we don't want to take away from Tristan's performance, because it was a hell of a debut in the UFC. We're talking about him. I mean, Jesus Christ, his Twitter following has gone up 15 times. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's the power of the Believe You Me podcast. We get behind someone, and they just skyrocket. They go through the roof. It's insane. Harry, to just go back to his statement in a second. Did he say, Pereira, that he does this for the fans? Is that what he said?
Yes, sir.
I hate that. I honestly do. Listen, I mean, good for him. And as I say, I want to see Pereira fight again. I am a fan of his, and he has a ton of potential. But a lot of people use that line. And I'm not talking about Pereira. I'm talking about a lot of fighters in general, a lot of boxers, a lot of sportsmen, period, Lewis, go out there and they say, I do this for the fans. No, you fucking don't. You do it for yourself. Listen, of course you want to be involved in exciting fights. You want the fans to go crazy. But you didn't do all those years on the mat and the sparring and the training or on the football field or whatever it is for the fans. You did it for yourself because you want to make something better of your life. And there's no shame in admitting that. We're all here trying to get ahead in life. But don't give me that cop-out say, I did it for the fans. I fight for you. I perform for you. I make all these sacrifices. Listen, I always had a ton of support whenever I fought. But I'll be honest. I mean, I'm greatly appreciative of all the support, but I did it for my family. I made the sacrifices for my family. I didn't fucking do it for some people I don't know. I appreciate their support. I appreciate the respect. But when I was fucking dying, and beat up and sore and in pain and in agony and hungry and couldn't be bothered doing it anymore, I still continued to do it because I wanted to provide for my family and become world champion. I did it for me, for selfish reasons, if I'm honest.
That's weird. I do everything for the fans. For me, I have the relationship that I have with the believers and the people that listen to these podcasts. I mean, whatever. We're different people. That's fine.
Are you going to use the terminology that gets you thrown off Saturday Night Live for the fans? Do it for the fans. Do it.
I do it for the chinks.
Oh, don't say that. I'm kidding. Jesus Christ. I was kidding.
What am I supposed to do? I can't stop. I can't turn this off, Bisping.
Oh my God.
Look, I agree with you. I think that the whole concept of doing it for the fans, look, everyone knows this, okay? I'm in terms of like podcasters and comedians, I'm one of the most approachable. I respond to people. I go back and forth with people on Twitter. If you write me a direct message, there's a good chance you're going to hear back from me. Like but I'm also a narcissist, so I'm feeding my own ego while I'm doing that. People do things. I used to really believe like that sort of Freudian sort of theory that people do things to feel great, to feel like they're important, and to get laid. It's sort of those two categories. The only reason why people have motivation to really do anything. But then I had a kid, and as a dad, it's very funny because now that's like the motivation for everything. I still want to feel great. You still want to get pussy or get laid or whatever it is, right? But at the same time, once you have a family, that becomes the absolute number one priority. So I've shifted my way of thinking to a certain degree. But if you have made it into the UFC, if you've gotten to the big show and you've gotten that good at fighting, there's more than likely those motivations are because you want to feel great. You want to, have a lot of money. You want to have hot chicks, get laid, have the nice cars. You want to, you have a competitive streak. You're an athlete. That sense of greatness, like that's built into some people where they need to feel as if they achieved or they need to feel as if they're the best in a certain category. or you have a family that you want to provide for and you want to make sure you can put food on the table. But yeah, nobody is getting up and going, hey, you see that guy in the third row? It's about him today.
I'm doing it for him, man. I'm doing it for him. I'm doing it for the fans. As I said before, yes, of course, you want to be appreciated. You want to put on a good show. I always wanted to put on a good show. But again, that kind of comes from the ego as well. I wanted to be known as an exciting fighter. And I was just naturally by that. That's just the way I fought. I was a striker, but all these people, I do it for the fans. I do it for the fans. I just think that's a fucking cop out. Listen, anyway, there you go. I don't want to offend any more people.